Coming up on Mountain News this morning, emergency management officials discuss items folks need to have handy with a major winter storm on the way. And President Trump shifting focus. We have what's next from the White House after a headline making trip to Europe.
Dedicated to Eastern and Southern Kentucky, this is WYMT Mountain News This Morning.
Welcome to Mountain News This Morning. I'm Caroline Mueller here with you on this Friday, January 23rd. We are inching up on that 5 o'clock hour, so let's go ahead and check in with meteorologist Megan Dusmal for a look at your forecast this morning. Megan, it was another frigid one out there, but surprisingly, first day all week I've not worn tights.
Really? Okay, well, this is not the first time this week.
Not due to the weather, though, just a personal preference for today.
Yeah, it is on the chillier side, but not as cold as some of those first half of the weekends. And first half of the week, and as we head into the weekend, it is going to get colder. Here's what we're looking at: some 20s all across the board, 25 in Hazard, 21 in Louisa, 23 in Stanton. But by the time we head into the afternoon, we'll be looking at a mixture of the mid-30s for most folks, seeing some chances for low 40s as you travel more towards that KYTN border. And we're going to have some partly cloudy skies throughout the day to mostly cloudy skies. Really just a dry forecast for the most part. Now, as we head into the weekend, we're really going to be watching as a winter weather storm is on the way. Here's a look at that winter storm warning, and that's highlighted in pink for most folks in the WYMT viewing area. In teal, we're looking at that winter storm watch, and this extends all the way from portions of Vermont, New Jersey, all the way to New Mexico. So a really big storm system that we'll watch throughout the next couple of days. Caroline.
Thank you, Megan. Kentucky State transportation officials say their work has already begun ahead of this weekend's winter storm. KYTC and the state's parks and emergency management agencies started pre-treating roads yesterday. KYTC says nearly 1,500 snowplows will be out on the roads this weekend. Jackson Plank spoke with a department spokesperson yesterday afternoon.
With heavy snowfall expected this weekend, the Kentucky Transportation Cabinet is wasting no time to keep the roads clear.
State highway crews are mobilizing, getting all the salt trucks and plows ready to go, and pre-treating as many highways as we can ahead of the storm.
Alan Blair is a spokesperson for the Kentucky Transportation Cabinet. He says all across the state, highway crews started pre-treating roads, applying brine where they can. Blair says it can only be applied to dry roads and when it's above 20 degrees.
It helps to break down that snow and ice bond in the early hours of the storm and gives the crews a head start as they plow and treat roads with salt during the storm.
The Transportation Cabinet says that once the storm hits, they will prioritize roadways by using a 4-tier priority system, emphasizing high-volume roads such as interstates and parkways. Blair says because of the dangerous conditions, he says it's important to make sure you have everything you need now.
Now is the time to go to the store if you need to get groceries, to fill your tank with gas if you need that, if you need propane, if all your supplies.
The Transportation Cabinet is also asking people to avoid traveling during the storm to stay safe. Reporting in Montgomery County, Jackson Plank, WKYT.
With the upcoming winter weather, emergency management officials are urging folks to prepare for every possibility. While the idea of a huge snow is exciting to some, Emergency Management Director in Pike County, Annie Jackson, warns that it can come with a lot of challenges. He says folks should have emergency kits on hand containing non-perishable food, medicine, water, first aid kits, and more. And they should also be prepared for the possibility of a power outage, since several inches of snow and the possibility of ice could mean downed trees and power lines. He says there's still time to prepare.
This is when you want to try to prepare for if the worst case scenario happens, you lose power. Because when you look at the temperatures on the backside of this storm, it's going to be cold. And it's not going to get above freezing, or it's not forecast to get above freezing for a few days after.
Jackson says you should also consider getting a weather radio if you don't already have one to stay connected even if your power is not. Governor Andy Beshear may not be in the Commonwealth, but he's trying to make sure Kentuckians are ready for this weekend.
We need you to get prepared now. Run any errands you have on Friday. Make sure that you're not out on the roads Saturday and Sunday. If you can prevent it, let's all stay safe.
The governor has been in Switzerland at the World Economic Forum. Several communities will have warming stations open through the winter storm in Letcher County. The Recreation Center at Whitesburg, as well as the Letcher, Making, Sandlick, Jenkins, Whitesburg, Colson, and Gordon fire departments will be emergency warming stations as needed. Trump is back at the White House this morning after his headline-making speech and meetings at the World Economic Forum in Davos, Switzerland. On the journey home from Davos, President Trump offered a new timeline on Greenland, a deal in 2 weeks, giving the U.S. more access to the Arctic territory. It's not ownership, which the president initially threatened, a relief for many Greenlanders who want to remain under the control of Denmark.
And I think Greenland's going very well. It's in negotiation. We have to have a strong freedom.
President Trump is also lashing out at a series of new polls showing most Americans are not satisfied with the first year of his second term, calling them fraudulent and virtually a criminal offense. It's now been more than 3 weeks since the fatal shooting of Renee Good. Tensions between ICE agents and demonstrators in Minnesota have not cooled since, with new arrests of protesters taking place. Vice President J.D. Vance visited Minneapolis and delivered a strong backing to federal law enforcement. He also asked for local politicians to cooperate with ICE. Protesters have complained that ICE agents are acting without restraint. Ghislaine Maxwell is scheduled for a deposition on February 9th before the House Oversight Committee. Kentucky Congressman James Comer says he expects her to appear but then plead the Fifth. Maxwell is serving time after being convicted of child sex trafficking. She is a former girlfriend of Jeffrey Epstein, who the committee is investigating. The CEOs from 5 of the largest health insurers appeared before House lawmakers to address healthcare affordability. Their testimony comes after Congress did not renew Affordable Care Act subsidies, driving up premiums for millions of Americans. Republicans faulted the law, also known as Obamacare, and industry consolidation, while Democrats blamed their GOP colleagues for the problem.
Competition is essential for patient access. Lack of competition and consolidation within the insurance marketplace has led us to higher healthcare costs as a whole.
Make no mistake, congressional Republicans and President Trump are to blame for the healthcare affordability crisis Americans are experiencing today, and it's only going to get worse.
Last year alone, we negotiated.
The health insurance executives testified that factors beyond their control, like rising treatment costs and an aging population, have increased premiums. Thanks for getting your day started with us here on Mountain News This Morning. Still to come, a former TV reporter whose stories used to air on WYMT will spin the big wheel tonight. We'll talk to him about his experience.
And we have a lot to break down with this winter storm on the way.